Okay, now we're gonna make the beans. And in the original recipe, this is kind of a bean and cabbage salsa. I'm actually going to heat them up, partly because I really like it this way in the winter, and also I just want to show you another kind of variation. And when we really want to use a lot of these nice carminative or gas dispelling herbs to add flavor and to also help make this more digestible, more supportive of our elimination, heating the herbs is helpful. So I have been playing around with cast iron. I just was starting to feel really kind of creepy about all my Teflon kind of coated pans as I was watching the coating dissipate and wondering how that was, don't mind that, how that coating was kind of getting into all my little bits and pieces. So we actually had a whole bunch of cast iron. I pulled it out. I did a little bit of research and we've been using it and finding it super easy. And I actually like the idea of how it incorporates iron into our diet. And it keeps you toned. Ooh, it's heavy. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna heat up this cast iron pan. This is really the first tip, is when you're using cast iron, things aren't going to stick as long as you heat it up properly. So I'm gonna just turn this on high. I'm going to add the ghee. So I'm just going to clean out the rest of this ghee jar into here. And I think the secrets to having amazing flavored beans, we're going to use whole beans, but whether you also just wanted to take whole beans and then blend them up to make refried beans, which you could definitely do with a version of this recipe, is you need lots of oil to counteract the dryness of the beans, and lots of spices, and lots of salt. Okay, so I'm gonna add a bit more. I'm gonna really just fill kind of the bottom of my pan. Because this is a vegetarian meal, this is really the only place we get our kind of nutritive fats from. There's no seeds or nuts in this meal. So I'm gonna warm up our ghee, and then I'm gonna rinse my beans. So I found in the cupboard a very, very, very cheap, like honestly, I think this cost maybe 99 cents, can of like no-name beans and a can of organic beans. One of the things that's great about this meal is how cost effective it is. A squash or some sweet potato, a can or two of cheap beans, and a cabbage. But I thought it would be fun for us to look at the difference between the organic and the non-organic beans and see if there is a difference. So I'm just gonna put these in the sink and I'm just gonna rinse these. So this is our non-organic beans. I'm just gonna give them a good rinse. Oh, beans are all over the place, we'll get those. I don't want all that gooey can juice on them. All right, I'm gonna just put them in this spiced bowl. And then this is our organic beans. Yeah, so there's a difference. The organic beans are a little bit darker. They're a little bit bigger. I think they're maybe a little more healthy kind of looking. They don't look as, can you see? Lots of steam. Not as kind of broken down. So if you're wondering if there's any value in paying the extra couple dollars for the organic beans, now you can maybe make a choice. So we'll mix these together. You can take a look. Side by side. You can see these ones look a little bigger, a little shinier. But today we're gonna make an all-inclusive. No discriminating. So our pan has gotten nice and warm here. I'm gonna turn it down to low. It may be a little bit too warm. I'm just gonna take it off the heat for a sec. And we're gonna add some of our spices here. So we have our leftover spice mix. So I don't want this to like fry. So I'm just gonna take it off the heat. Okay. So I wanted to tell you about the ajwan. This is, I think they call it Indian celery seed. It's like very similar to the seeds of Queen Anne's lace, actually, a wild carrot, and it's all part of that family with parsley, cilantro, fennel. I believe they're all that same family. So I'm going to put these seeds in here. You can see that they're starting to kind of just toast up nicely. I'm going to add a little bit more of the hing. I'm going to add some more cumin. Oh my gosh, I wish you could smell this. And I'm going to add the rest of that spice mix that we made. So we just want to be able to smell these. I think I'm going to also add a bit more of these sweet paprika flakes. Look at this. Wow. Gorgeous. I'm going to bring this guy back onto the heat. So we don't want to, we just want to kind of toast these up a little bit in this oil, and it's going to kind of infuse all of the herbal properties into the oil and give us that flavor. I'm going to add our beans. Give it a toss. Oh my gosh, it's so good. I'm going to add some salt. And you can see we got Kim working hard back here. She's cutting up the cabbage. Thanks, Kim. All right, so I added some salt. We've got purple cabbage. I think you could use any cabbage that floats your boat. You could probably use kale. I'm going to just give this a toss. Perfect timing. So I'm going to give this a toss. The cabbage will break down a little bit, and by heating up the cabbage and cooking it a little bit, we'll also really cooking it in the oil and the salt and all of these herbs. We're also going to help make it so much easier to digest. I don't want to cook the bejesus out of it. So I'm just going to keep it on kind of a low heat and just kind of let this warm through. And then we'll come back and kind of fancy this up. So this doesn't really need any kind of babysitting or anything. We can put the lid on if we want to kind of keep the juices in there. I don't really think it matters. Okay. And that's it. So we're about halfway through, perfect timing, we're about halfway through on our sweet potato. So you ready? Big reveal. Oh. Is this what we want? So I think it's been in for about 12 minutes. Look at that. So you can start to see that it's starting to kind of caramelize. You know, they're getting soft. I can't put the thing through it yet. All I'm going to do is just give them a big toss. Spread it back out. And put it back in for, check it maybe 12 more minutes. Okay, so our beans and cabbage are cooking, our squash is getting there, and now we're going to work on really the main third component of this recipe, which is our amazing guacamole. So we'll see you next for that.